Alright guys, welcome back to Days of Darkness and welcome to my review for The Evil Dead. This one came out in 1981. It is starring Bruce Campbell, Betsy Baker, and Ellen Sandwich, and was directed by Sam Raimi. Man, oh man, guys. New series review. If you can't already tell, we are going to be talking about the Evil Dead movies, starting obviously with this one, the original film. And God, I am really excited to talk about these. I haven't seen these back to back in quite a number of years. I recently checked out Evil Dead Rise, which we will include in this series review. I also got some fun recommendations from the socials for different movies to splash in between reviews, as we usually do. So yeah, man, it's going to be a fun couple of fucking weeks here on the channel, but we'll get to all that when we get there. Right now, we're talking about the one that started it all, the independent Evil Dead film. I fucking love this one, man. There's really no ifs, ands, or buts. I fucking adore this one. There's definitely some very minor horror cliche nitpicks that I can always pick out with any fucking movie. But I always say, like, if you're coming into movies just strictly to fucking pick them apart, maybe the wrong genre for you. But hey, that's just me. Overall, man, I think the world of this fucking movie. Number one, before we get into the actual film itself, just the achievement of this movie. As someone, I will talk about this until the end of time, but as someone who has, gone out of his way to attempt to make an independent film, it's fucking hard, dude. It's really, really fucking hard. And just hearing different behind the scenes things and documentaries and interviews and just how rough this fucking shoot was, man. I thought this film came out fucking beautiful, man. I adore this fucking movie, and just knowing all of the crazy conditions they went through and people getting hurt and the budget and just the restrictions that this movie was under, and still having something be this fucking quality and this fucking awesome. That's a big, big testament to Sam Raimi's skills and also everybody else who was involved in this movie. All the actors, actresses, what have you. Crew members. It's just, I know this film is decades old at this point, but it's like, goddamn, that's impressive shit. And while speaking about the budget, people will look at this movie and dog it for the shoddy effects, which, yeah, of course, not every practical effect in this movie is the most mind-blowing thing in the world. But to me, good quality filmmaking and good writing and good performances will always trump that type of shit. It's like, yeah, we get some dodgy stuff here and there as far as the visuals are concerned, but at the same time, some of the fucking cinematography in this movie is just so fucking good, dude. I think of shots like the blood dripping down the camera lens and like the reflection of it, it looks like it's pouring all over Bruce Campbell, Ash. You have that amazing shot when they realize that they're just stuck there, and he's having the tug and pull on his sister Cheryl as she's just going in fucking hysterics over what just happened to her, which we'll get into. And you just get that amazing shot of these two silhouettes just brawling in this fucking hue of light. It's just fucking amazing. I could gush all day about that shit, stuff like that. Like I said, budget be damned. You will never be able to hide talent, and no amount of budget or lack thereof is going to be able to hide talent. Either you have it or you don't. And Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell and everybody else involved with this movie has fucking talent in spades. Now, as far as the film itself is concerned, it is definitely 100% the Evil Dead formula to a fucking T, no doubt about it. We have, it's exactly what you expect. Group of college friends going out to a cabin. The cabin is less than desirable, but they make the most out of it. But sure enough, man, that fucking goddamn book rears its ugly head and just fucks everything up for everybody. I fucking love the premise, man. I think this is such a cool fucking idea for a horror movie. Obviously, you can't really blame this one for having the standard Evil Dead formula because it's the Evil Dead. It's the fucking first movie. And it's just such a simple premise, but much like a lot of my favorite horror movies, it's the execution of everything. You know, you don't need an overly complex plot. Group of kids go out to the woods, they get tortured by fucking demons. You know, obviously it's a little more complicated than that, but you understand what I'm saying. It's the execution of everything and the fact that, you know, the characters we have here are really fucking good characters, especially for like an 80s horror movie where everyone thinks just all characters are fucking paper thin, which is the case for a lot of films. Not this one, man. I really don't feel that way at all. You know, you have Ash and Linda, that, you know, the young couple who's, you know, they're just, it's pure, it's cute romance, you know, he gives her a necklace and he's fucking, like, they're in love, man, like, straight up in fucking love, and they have some very genuine moments between those two, which makes, you know, what ends up happening to Linda and how fucking tortured Ash is in this movie that much worse. It just makes it that much more effective, you know? You can call those, like, romantic scenes between those two slow or boring or whatever. I disagree, man. I think those scenes are vital to the effectiveness of the movie. Same thing with Cheryl, Ash's sister. You know, just knowing that those two are blood related, and it's not just a matter of, oh, just a group of college friends. Like, this guy, you know, the love of his life's on this trip. His sister's on this trip. Like, these are people that are extremely close to him. And, you know, obviously Ash being the main character of this movie, the decision to have Linda and Cheryl definitely have the most impactful possessions. And definitely those two Deadites, I would argue, play the biggest part in torturing him in this film. I think that's 100% by design. Don't get me wrong, the Scott and Shelley Deadites have plenty of cool moments as well, but those two are the ones that really stand out to me, and I don't think that was a mistake at all. And yeah, man, I could gush about that sort of shit all day. I think it's really, really cool what they did here. But yeah, man, it's just another case of a fairly simple premise being executed extremely well with some great writing and also really good performances. But yeah, man, another thing I really like about this movie is the fact that we have a final boy. We have Ashley Williams, whatever you want to call him. Really, really cool idea here. It's not completely unheard of or anything like that, but this is one of the more noticeable, like, male protagonists of a fucking horror film. It's very typical to have, you know, a female lead in a horror movie. And this one flips that right on its fucking head, man. We have the three women go down first. They're all like the first to fucking go. In very brutal fashion too, might I add. Like, they all get pretty fucking brutal fates in this movie. You know, Scott has a fucking terrible fate too, and it's like with these Deadites, man. We'll talk about the Deadites later on in the review, but you know, it's not like The Exorcist or The Omen or something like. Well, I don't think The Omen really classifies as a possession movie. You understand what I mean? You know, in like an exorcism type movie, it's like you can be exorcised and heal from your possession. It's not the fucking case here, man. There ain't no exorcising these demons, man. Once you're fucked, you're fucked. The Kandarian demons are just a whole different fucking breed, and they literally eat the host alive, pretty much. Like, they fucking completely envelop them. And yeah, man, these three ladies get the worst of it. Scott has a pretty fucking shitty fate too, just getting fucked up by the trees. But, you know, Cheryl having what happened to her happen, and just how fucking brutal and awful that scene is, you know, it's definitely not the most tasteful thing in the world, but we'll kind of leave that where it lies. Definitely a terrible, terrible fate for her. And yeah, man, all of them really get it pretty bad in this movie. So then you have Ash, who's, you know, his character definitely changes throughout the series, and we'll see that. as we go on. But in this first one, man, he's a fucking kid, man. He's like 21 years old here. Bruce Campbell's 21 years old here, so I imagine that's the intention with the character as well. Just a young fucking kid, man, not knowing what the fuck is happening. Like, just has no fucking clue. He's just thrust into this situation. He has to make the best out of it. And, you know, I think the world of Bruce Campbell's performance in this, I thought he was fucking phenomenal. But I think everybody in this film is fucking great. But, you know, I love that character, man. I think he's fucking awesome in this movie for sure. Definitely some himbo qualities to him for sure, especially in this first one, man. Definitely isn't the best decision maker in the world, but as I always say, when you're in a situation like this, you're not gonna be fucking thinking clearly at all. But you know, definitely some himbo qualities for sure, of which I can relate. Moving on. Let's go ahead and talk about these fucking Deadites, man. So the Deadites are the primary villains of the Evil Dead movies, the Kandarian possessed people, of which there are multiple throughout the series, but we are introduced to them here, and they are just as mean and torturous and villainous and just plain downright fucking evil as possible. Great moments here. Obviously, we are first introduced to a Deadite by, you know, Cheryl after her whole deal with the trees. And she comes back and, you know, they're playing cards on the floor, and she just starts calling them without even seeing them. And her voice gets more deep and gravelly, and she just starts fucking, oh God, and then her fucking head just turns right around, and it's just fucking, it's scary, man. It's scary shit. She obviously attacks them, some brutal shit, stabbing Linda in the ankle with a fucking pencil, which is just fucking gross. It's a brutal fucking close-up, brutal prosthetics. And yeah, man, they lock her up in the fucking cellar, and she just starts just taunting them relentlessly. Later on, when Scott's bleeding out from the trees, stabbing him after he tries to escape, you know, and he's like, Ash, I don't want to die. I don't want to die, Ash. And then fucking Cheryl's down there, hey, I don't want to die, Ash. Like fucking just completely just taunting him, being so vicious, so fucking mean. Definitely though, as far as like evil, sinister shit, Linda and her demon, man. Cheryl's a bitch in this, don't get me wrong. Like, Cheryl's possessed state is definitely fucking mean. And also a very underrated moment from this movie when they first lock her in the cellar, and, you know, she's fucking peeking out of there trying to get out. And I believe, yeah, Shelly was the one who was like, oh my God, what happened to her eyes? And you just get a close-up on her fucking completely whited out fucking eyes. And fun fact, by the way, as I mentioned before, some of the conditions in this movie were not fun to work under. And anyone who was possessed in this movie, they could not see out of those contacts. They were so fucking thick that they just couldn't see out of them. So anytime you see someone possessed in this first Evil Dead movie, they are completely blind and they can't see a goddamn thing. So that's fun. But yeah, man, just that her screeching, what happened to her eyes? Fucking just stellar shit, man. Really good stuff. But as far as like pure just evil psychological torture shit that these Deadites do, man, I'm giving it to fucking Linda, man. Holy shit. Obviously Linda is like the love of Ash's life. He's just head over heels for this chick. And yeah, man, she gets possessed, and at one point, you know, obviously when she is possessed, she's not overtly aggressive, at least immediately. You know, she's just sitting there in that very squeaky, bubbly, little kid-esque voice that I'm not even going to attempt to impersonate. She ends up, you know, just audibly torturing this guy over and over. We're gonna get you. And all that shit, and just laughing, and you know, it's fucking brutal, man. And at one point, you know, he's slapping her around, trying to get her to fucking shut up, Ashes. Because at this point, he's just convinced, oh, she's not there anymore. Linda's gone. It's just this fucking demon now. And so he's smacking the shit out of her. And then at one point, she looks up. And some people think that, Linda was briefly unpossessed or whatever. I don't believe that for a second, man. I think this Deadite was just totally just fucking with him. I think once Linda got fucking stabbed with that pencil and you started seeing that vein, those black veins start to envelop her fucking leg, and once she is possessed in this movie, I think she's done. I don't think there's anything of Linda left, and it's just this hell beast just being so fucking cruel and just giving Ash that little hope that maybe Linda's back, maybe she got better. Nah. The Shelley Deadite has some cool moments too, where she chews her own fucking hand off, and that's how they discover the Kandarian dagger that was in the basement, and the fact that they can use it and it actually does have some sort of effect on the Deadites, which I think they basically completely get rid of that at a certain point in the franchise. I don't think in Evil Dead 2, I can't remember, but at one point the dagger thing just gets completely erased, and that is one thing. I think the rules of this movie, these movies, are kind of weird. You could say it's different curses from the book and different yada yada yada, but and I've heard people excuse it like that. But to me, it's the rules can be kind of inconsistent. I know, in Evil Dead 2, Ash is possessed briefly, but the sun is coming up, so he's no longer. I guess the demon dies, but then Army of Darkness, they're in the light constantly, so who fucking knows, really. But anyways, as far as Deadites, I'd say Scott's probably I don't think he really has a whole lot to do as a Deadite. He's obviously one of the two that has that final disintegration scene, which is cool, but his death's pretty fucking brutal, which we'll get into. But overall, man, this is the introduction to the Deadites, man, and I think I just fucking think these guys are such great fucking villains, man. The Deadites are so mean and so cruel, and it's, for these guys, a lot of horror villains will just kill you. It's nah, fuck that. They don't want to just kill you. Killing you is the end of the process. They have so much more in store for whatever poor soul it is that are fucking torturing. They just want to fucking just fuck with you constantly. They don't care about morality or anything, man. They're just purely fucking evil, and they get off on seeing people get tortured. And I'm a fucking weirdo, so I like that stuff. Don't judge me. But yeah, man, I'm just kidding. You can judge me. I don't care. Yeah, great stuff there, man. But the ending of this movie is really cool. Deadite Shelley got fucking chopped into little bits by Scott. Ash beheaded Linda, and she's nowhere to be fucking found for the rest of the movie until Evil Dead 2, which we'll get into later. So now it is just Deadite Scott, whatever, and Deadite Cheryl, who has escaped from her fucking cellar. I don't remember how necessarily, but fuck it, whatever, she's out. And these guys keep coming, man. You cannot fucking kill these dudes. At one point, Ash fucking shoots Cheryl with a shotgun in the fucking jaw, and she keeps coming. It's there is no fucking way except bodily dismemberment to really. And even then, they fucking cut up Shelley, and she's still wiggling around and shit, and very clearly still alive. Just brutal shit, man. So they have Ash basically dead to rights. Cheryl's beating the fucking shit out of him with a fire poker. Scott's kind of in bad shape. He got his eyes gouged out and shit, so he's just doing what he can, grabbing on Ash's ankle and shit, just trying to do whatever. And Ash eventually realizes, he's once he gets that book kind of close to the fire, it starts smoking a little bit, and it clearly has an effect on them. So he uses the necklace that he gave to Linda, and he fish hooks that book, throws into the fucking fire, and at first they just freeze, which I love that little detail. They just completely fucking still. And then after a couple seconds, they just slowly start melting. And it goes from melting to disintegrating. It's their fucking skin and their bones and their eyes are fucking melting out. and they're just fucking evaporating basically into this fucking gross sludge and shit. Just beautiful stuff, you know. And you can say, I would say, as far as like shoddy looking special effects, that one, which is mostly comprised of stop motion photography, you know, when the fucking skin is peeling away and shit, that's all stop motion. Budgets are a bitch, dude, and they had a budget to follow, and if this is what they came out with a low budget, man, I ain't fucking complaining, man. Just phenomenal looking stop motion here, for sure. And yeah, man, so they are basically reduced to puddles. It's dawn now. Ash walks out onto the fucking front porch. And one thing I didn't mention that I really, really loved is those sweeping shots of the Kandarian demons just flying through the fucking woods. And just hearing some of the amazing ways of how they fucking got those shots is awesome. You know, at some points, camera crewmen were fucking having to put cameras on fucking 2x4s and just run through the fucking woods. This ending shot where the demon actually flies through the forest, through the fucking cabin, and then inevitably into Ash to wrap up the movie. That was actually, if my memory serves correct, that was actually Sam Raimi on a fucking bike, like riding through the fucking cabin. Just hearing and knowing stuff like that just makes this movie all the more fun for me. But yeah, man, that demon flies through the fucking cabin. We are led to believe that Ash is possessed at the end of this movie, which we find out in Evil Dead 2 that he was briefly. And yeah, man, just a fucking really fun ending to a very, very fucking fun movie, man. I fucking love Evil Dead. I love the first one. I love most of them for the most part, which we'll get into all of that. But, you know, we start off here, and what a fucking way to kick it off, man. Just a phenomenal, cool fucking indie horror flick. And I fucking love it, man. But that'll do it for the review portion of the fucking video. But you know what we gotta do now, baby. We gotta get into the blood, the guts, and the gory bits. We gotta get into my kill of the film. Stick around. The Evil Dead is a very, very, very fucking bloody movie. Very bloody, very gory, very excellent. I definitely did not do well as far as keeping some of the deaths to myself, to say them for the kill of the film section, but you know, it's Evil Dead, man. You gotta talk about the fucking gore. And this one kicks it off right, man. We got plenty of fucking great deaths. You know, Linda getting her fucking head cut off by a shovel when she's flying down on the ash, and he just takes that shovel and just boop. And, you know, and the Deadite's still alive, technically, so the fucking beheaded corpse of Linda's still, like, mounted on Ash, and he's fucking fighting to get away, and the head's, like, laughing and shit. Crazy stuff there. Scott getting his fucking eyes gouged out, and his fucking, you know, his stomach impaled by a tree. He fucking takes it out, and it's just this geyser of blood fucking pouring out of him. That was gross. Shelly getting all chopped into little pieces. Plenty of really, really good practical gore effects in this movie that I fucking loved. But for me, man, easily kill of the film is gonna be that melting scene, man, when Ash throws the fucking Necronomicon into the fucking flames and those demons just completely fucking disintegrate, man. It's just such good shit. Absolutely loved it. And that'll probably be my shortest kill of the film fucking section ever. So that's The Evil Dead, man. Like I said before, really, really good stuff. I cannot fucking recommend this enough if you haven't seen it. And if you have, fucking go watch it again, because it's good. But yeah, man, that'll do it for the video, guys. Next time on Days of Darkness, as I said before, during series reviews, I like to splash movies in between just to kind of break it up, you know, make it a little more digestible. And speaking of digestible, we are going to be taking a look at The Menu next time on Days of Darkness. Definitely looking forward to checking that one out again. As far as modern horror is concerned, it's definitely one of the ones that has impressed me the most. And fun fact, is also a favorite of Mrs. Darkness, who is a foodie at heart for sure. So she definitely appreciates that movie as well. And yeah, man. So overall, man, I'm excited to talk about that one with you guys. But until then, guys, thank you as always for stopping by, supporting the channel, and supporting the dream. And as always, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and for the love of all things gory, keep watching horror. All right, guys. Have a good day.